What is going on? How is my folk doing? Welcome to another episode of You Can't Make This BS Up. It's your host, you guessed it, Joel Davis, and you know what segment it is, baby. That's right. This is the infamous Black Friday. That's right. It's Black Friday. Y'all know what we do on Black Friday. We discuss some of the craziest, most twisted, most insane crime committed by our melanated, aka black. Whether it's in the Americas, aka US of A, North America, whatever you want to call it, or international, baby. Either way it goes, it's black. Now, I want to say thanks to everyone who supported last Black Friday episode. It really made me feel good to hear you guys interact over there on my YouTubes and also on my Instagram. And please follow my Instagram. You can't make this BS up ever. I had to put ever at the end because my original one got slammed out of this world. Some way, somehow lost everything I was working hard in that Instagram, but it's okay. It's not nothing wrong with starting over. You know, sometimes it happens. You know what I'm saying? It happens. That's part of the game. So let's see here. This time we are going to head on over to the West Coast. And on the West Coast, we're going to talk about a gentleman who I haven't heard a lot about podcasters talk, and we're going to get over and start that story in a minute. But there is some housekeeping things I have to remind you guys of. First things first, do me a favor and please make sure, guys, that if you like or see any of my content, okay, if you do not like a certain content or you think I did not do good on the episode, do me a favor and just leave a comment, but don't give me a bad rating. It stops the flow of all of the hard work that we are putting in over here on the podcast to get people to find us on true crime. So I'd rather for you to just give me a bad review and comments and we'll go from there. Just don't rate me as less than a 5. It hurts me at the end of the day. Also, too, I am also going to try to record this evening, or if it's not tonight, especially by tomorrow, I will release a special episode on my paid subscriptions. That's the one on my Spotify. Also will be available on my Apple Podcast. And it will also be available on my Patreon. That's right. You can't make this BS up. Patreon. So you guys got all of access to those. I will have the links down below for you to join any of those groups. I would love for you to join all 3. That'll really support me and help me. But hey, if you feel like you got to go by your budget, the cheapest one will possibly be the one on Spotify. Then you got the one on Apple. And then you have the other one that's my Patreon. So either way it goes, let me know what you can do and support, and we will go from there. If you start joining my TikToks over there on my TikTok, and we start growing my Instagram and my Twitter, you can't make this BS up, which is U as in the letter U, C as in the letter C, and then make this BS up. That's my X, formerly known as Twitter. You go over there on X and follow me, and we get enough of a following over there. I'm telling you right here, right now, we will start doing subscriptions over there too. We may even go as far as have a actual live conversation about recent cases that are going on in the media. But it, like I said, guys, I have to have y'all participation to follow me and to support me. The more I get support, the more I can put back into maybe making this a full-time job. But it's all about y'all support at the end of the day. All right, enough of the housekeeping. and everything else. We about to go into this guy that nobody is really, like I said, I've heard no one talk about this man. I don't know if it's because he is, sometimes there's certain situations where people there's certain people that they don't talk about because they don't really know too much about it. But it's on the West Coast, like I said earlier, and the guy name is William Jennings Choice. Man, oh man, Will is not your typical black American nice. Now, Will got some twisted fantasies and behavior, and the man is really like a sheep's in wool's clothing. But after I get through discussing William Jennings Choice, a man who played multiple roles, he was a father, he was a husband, but when he was in those two roles, baby, he had a third role where he was a damn predator. Now, trigger warning, there's a lot of brutal stuff that's going to be in this episode. So if you're not up to about violence, especially violence against women and violations, viewer discretion is advised. But I'm going to tell you that this man stalked California streets for over 10 years. Okay, 10 years. He had a violent upbringing that had caused him to become a cold-blooded murderer. And at the same time, the family that he was raising under his roof, especially his sweet, adoring wife, Alice Swafford, she had no clue. But we're going to talk about statements, trials, everything that's happened that caused this guy to be a monster and the monstrous actions he did. So let's jump into the story of William Jennings Choice. William Jennings Choice was born on December 19th, 1953 in Alameda County, California. His parents' name was William Jennings Choice Sr. and his phone off guy. Y'all, sorry about that. And his mother name was Aris Choice. Now they say his mother Aris was off the chain growing up. She was always on Williams. Every time she had a chance to destroy that boy, she would destroy him verbally and physically. Now y'all got to remember, back in the 50s, going into the 60s and 70s, child abuse had to be extreme. Okay, it was bad enough that parents would backhand their kids real quick, like in a hurry, pick up anything to knock them out whenever they didn't like what they were saying or did disrespect them. But we're talking about extreme as in some of these parents would wake up and be like, "Oh, you're having a bad day, your ass is mine," type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Or, you come home and tell your mama, "Hey, I didn't do good on this homework," instead of y'all talking it out the first time before they go into whooping ass, she like, "No, motherfucker, you are the problem," and your ass getting towed up right then and there. So this is how it was when they talk about abuse to the extreme. We're talking about locking you up in rooms, not barely feeding you. I'm talking about torturing you, whipping you with things that could leave not just marks, but big whelps and marks. Back then, that was considered extreme abuse. And even then, people didn't intervene because in their mind, it's none of my business. And the way they would talk to their children back then was horrendous. Some of these moms were worse than men. But anyway, William once admitted that he spent his early life desperately trying to earn his mother's love and approval, but to no avail. Now he had at least one sibling. He had at least one sibling, though their identity still I could not find. The dysfunction at home would form the roots of a dual identity that would terrify California for decades. Now, when I was doing my research, it looked like he had more than one, that he had multiple siblings, but I could not confirm if they were siblings, cousins, or anything of that nature when I did my research. So later on, when Choice became an adult, he married his childhood friend, Alice Swafford. Now, they had a daughter named Crystal. Now, to the outside world, he was like the perfect husband. He was hardworking, he was attentive, he was dedicated. But see, Alice would start to open up and say in interviews, and she was even featured on the show Evil Still Lives Here. Evil Lives Here, I meant, that she felt that something was always off with her husband. Like, she was one of those women, like a lot of people, when they have that, you have that internal feeling. Like, you sit there and you're like, okay, this person checks this box. They're good, they're attentive, or they're hardworking, they love me, or, we're very intimate, or we're this and that. But you still feel like, wait a minute, I just feel like this person in my life is not who they say they are. It's like they're hiding something. It happens a lot in these kind of cases. And that's how Alice felt. She felt like this Negro was too damn good to be true. Now, according to a memoir, Conquering Darkness, William often stayed out late and he started frequently visiting strip clubs. And he would secretly arrange encounters with sex workers. Now, his family never even suspected the level of darkness hiding beneath his polished exterior. Like I said, as later detailed in the Evil Lives Here episode, Alice described her growing unease. Like she said, he was charming, attentive, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong out here with him. Now, when it comes to his victims and his MO, if you don't know what I meant, his Modus Operandi, William preyed on vulnerable women. And back then, what was those vulnerable women, especially with a lot of these serial killers, starting from the late 60s all the way up to the early 2000s, before they started getting bombarded with the evolution of DNA. It was sex workers. Yes, it was sex workers. They were easy. The reason why sex workers and runaways and hitchhikers were the primary target for a lot of these predators, whether it was sexual predators or just straight killers, they felt like these was the undesirable people of America. Like, no one is looking for the prostitute out here that's always on such and such a street every day, every night. Maybe her pimp. But who is going to go and search for her when her pimp go to the police? And the pimp ain't gonna go to the police all the time anyway, because he don't want heat on his operation, because he's prostituting and that's illegal. So serial killers were already on the point of, they were saying to themselves, this is like the easiest field of victims that we can get. These women are the undesirable. They are either strung out on drugs. A lot of them got so many mental health issues and other issues that if they were to go missing, even if they did got somebody looking for them, police ain't gonna put all their effort into it, especially if they black women back then. Because black women was definitely back then considered to be the low-end commodity. And a lot of black folks didn't have the resources or the gall in a lot of ways to push to get the answers, because all it took was somebody to be like, get off that damn phone. We cannot help you. Your daughter or whoever is a junkie, and we know they dead probably somewhere. They ran off. Now stop this shit. So you get bombarded with that type of behavior, and you in a situation where they don't believe you, and that's why it was like it was. So let's get back to the story. I went off my soapbox a little bit. So let's talk about the first victim, Victoria Bell. It was April 17th, 1988. Victoria was doing her thing like she normally do. Y'all give me one. Okay, give me one moment, guys. I am so sorry. All right, guys, I am back with this. Let me go where I left off here. Sorry, I had to take a short break here. So, as I was saying, so you got Victoria Bell. It's April 17th, 1988. Victoria is doing what she normally does. She is doing her duty as lady of the night. So she was hanging out in Oakland on International Boulevard. William was over there like he always do when it comes to his stalking slash prey mentality. Offered her a ride in his vehicle, and probably told her like, hey, let me give you this ride. You know what I'm saying? We can go somewhere a little private and we can get down to business, agree on some terms, and you can take care of me and I could possibly take care of you. It'll be tit for tat. Well, when he got her to a secluded industrial area, things become dark based upon what everybody is probably going to theorize here that led up to this situation. William probably told Victoria whenever she started saying, okay, what you want, and by the way, before we get started, I'm gonna need this bread ran to me back. And that's probably when William probably told her, nah, I'm not paying nothing, baby. This is what's gonna happen. And he took it from her. And after that, that's when he probably drug her down to the lot of this industrial area, put that steel behind her head, and did execution and left her there for dead. So after 1988, he kind of like laid low. Now, laying low, I don't know what caused him to lay low for so long, but 11 years later, he's starting to get that itch again. William's starting to get that to be bad. So now he's in Stockton. He's out there near Arch Airport Road. And once again, he's looking for that special type of chick. You see Gwendolyn Lee. People witnessing her speaking with William for a little minute. He drove in his van, which he had retrofitted with a fold-down bed. And once again, he get her into a position where he can violate her. Then he murder her. And then he dumped her body in a nearby field. Then the next day, in Stockton, it seems like William just was not satisfied. William was out here like, yo, I got this itch and it's got to be scratched. I need another Vic. This time it was LaWanda Beck. Beck was abducted from that same area that we talked about, Arch Airport Road, where all the women are like, and he was killing her using the same method. Then he would violate this woman. And then after that, execution style. Just like that. Her body was left in the same field as Lee's, indicating premeditation and confidence in his secluded dump site. Now, these killers displayed a chilling pattern. He used his tow truck job as a cover, his vehicle as a mobile crime scene, and carefully selected isolated areas to dump the body. So the cases went cold for about 5 years. But then DNA, y'all know, as what's her name? Medea called Dana. Dana started advancing and evolving. And after Dana started evolving, a lot of these cases were able to start testing materials and biological evidence that they had saved over the years and preserved. And in this case here, in this situation here, that's when in 2002, they linked semen found at each crime scene to one single profile. And that DNA matched William Jennings Choice. So on September the 14th, 2002, police arrested Choice. That's right, old William. A search of his van revealed it had a fold-down bed, confirming suspicions that he committed the crime inside the vehicle before dumping his victims. Then 6 years later, in 2008, Choice stood trial for the murders of Bell, Lee, and Beck. Prosecutors presented the DNA evidence, then survivor testimony and forensic records. The jury found him guilty on all counts, and he was sentenced to death. Now, during this sentencing, the families of the victims delivered powerful statements in court. Like, for instance, for Victoria Bell's family, this was their statement. Her murder left us lost. Our mother, sister, daughter, gone without warning. Then you had Gwendolyn Lee's family. We struggle daily with the emptiness she left behind. And then there's LaWanda Beck's family state. Her laughter was silence. We want justice and safety for others like her. All this shows how much loss that this family experienced because of this man. It just goes to show you that William's actions had left a lot of pain and destruction in his past. So we're going to touch now a little bit about the episode of Evil Lives Here, Our House of Horrors, which featured Choice's wife, who wrote a book about her life being with William Choice while he was in the prime of his serial killer career. Now, it featured his wife, Alice, and then it had his daughter, Crystal. Now, Alice shared how she slowly discovered the truth. She started finding stripper numbers in his wallet and suspicious items in his vehicle. In her own words, one day I found condoms and numbers of escorts in his phone. I started feeling like I didn't know him at all. Hey, man, that's like one of the major signs of a serial killer. They always leave a double life. And they double life always going to lead to either they have a fetish that they cannot handle at home. So they act it out when they're away from the everyday duties of the life that they are accustomed to at that present time. Or they will get a partner. And I've seen a lot of that in these researches that we've been seeing with these serial killers. They'll get a partner. It could be a chick that has no self-esteem, that they can just control and do whatever they want. They help them fulfill out these fantasies against others. Or sometimes it can just be another partner to help them kill. You know, it could be somebody that is like, looks up to them or really admires their work of destruction and just go with it. So I've seen that a lot with these serial killers. They always know how to compartmentalize everything in their lives. And that's exactly why he was able to get away with it for so long and not be affected. He know how to compartmentalize. That's my other life. I'm in the good life right now, so that can go wherever. Now, his daughter Crystal expressed his daughter Crystal, sorry guys, expressed her horror, realizing her father was a serial killer. And it just showed them struggling with a lot of guilt and disbelief. And you gotta look at it from their point of view, man. Like, this man was the staple of perfection. I mean, everybody was probably telling them, oh, you lucky to have a husband like that, girl. I wish I had somebody like Will. Keep to himself and all about you, girl. Or somebody telling Crystal, oh, I wish my daddy was like your daddy, Crystal. He always so attentive. He always there for you when nobody else is. My daddy, I don't know who he is. So, they felt like, well, damn, we was fooled too. We thought he was one of the good guys. So, as of today, William Choice remains on death row at San Quentin State Prison in California, awaiting his appeals. Now, he has shown no remorse in public or even, I guess, to other inmates about the crimes he committed. And right now, his case remains one of the most peculiar and disturbing examples of a hidden predator in modern California history. Now, y'all also know too the reason why he is still on death row in San Quentin prison and probably live out the rest of his old age. He's currently 71 now till he makes his last breath is because they have a stay right now in the state of California for all death penalties to be carried out. That was by Governor Newsom. Now, I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't know whenever they get a new governor, if he's going to be on board with doing that too. But as of now, there's a stay for California and to execute their the rest of the prisoners on death row. Sorry, I had a brain freeze. I'm getting tired. After this, I think I'm going to go and head to the set. It's already 2:50 in the morning. Choice life is just another example of a duality. A man who wore the mask of a family man while committing monstrous crime. See, justice came slowly but definitively. And thanks to forensic science and the bravery of the surviving family members, that now William Jennings Choice has to sit his ass down and realize that only one person put him there, himself. Like all serial killers, you start out clean and perfecto mundo as a whistle when you do your first couple of crime hits. But sooner or later, you start getting complacent. And when you get complacent, you get what? Sloppy. And that's what happened with this guy right here. He thought that he was too good to ever find himself in a situation where he was going to get caught up. But in reality, he got caught up. So anyway, join me next time on You Can't Make This BS Up, where we'll talk about another famous case of criminal behavior. And if you got a case suggestion, please feel free to email me at joshua.24@icloud.com. Let me put it to you one more time. Joshua.24. All right, guys, that's it. I hope y'all have a productive morning and day. I'm calling it a night. I'm out.